Hello, everybody. I'm Madame Sensei. I teach Spanish, French, and Japanese out here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest to high schoolers. Can be reached at studio-nemo.com or the Duolingo Educators Network or the Minecraft Education Ambassadors. But I love to bounce ideas off of people. I love to hear your ideas because I want to learn too. I've been examining the Harvard Project Zero thinking routines, and we're just finishing up the core thinking routines today, which is what makes you say that. And again, the thinking routines are located here, pz.harvard.edu/thinking-routines, and link in the description. So this is an interpretation with justification routine. So you're going to translate into the target language. What's going on? What do you see that makes you say that? And let me say that in your sentence frames, in your word bank, your first word should be because. Keep pounding that, because your students are going to need that word. This is a good way for them to learn it, okay? But they'll use it a lot. What's going on? What do you see that makes you say that? So they're justifying their thought, okay? And be prepared with this one to keep asking follow-up questions. You want to dig a little deeper, okay? Can you give me an example of that? Where do you see that? Come up to the board and point at that part. And of course, as much as you can, do that in the target language. It's recommended with this thinking routine that when students get into a really deep discussion, if you can get them there in the target language. Maybe you're having the discussion in English, and that's okay if you have to, okay? But it's recommended that you record the discussion instead of having the students take notes. And the thought is that taking notes is going to slow the students down. So those of you that are doing community language learning, you're already recording anyway, so it's not, you're already there. You already do this, so you don't have to record. You could, if you got a really in-depth discussion you want to get into, have a student come up to the board and take notes, or get out a giant sheet of butcher paper and have the students take notes, or maybe have the students take notes individually and then conglomerate them all later. But keep in mind that generally you're going to be doing this thinking routine on something that you're doing over several days. So you're going to have to take the poster down or cover it up for the next class or add to it for the next class. But I don't like to have one class see what another class did, because then, it kind of it short circuits the process for them. Okay. But I also allow the students to take notes during the discussion anyway. And then afterwards, I have the students write down as much as they remember. Now, this is a later thinking routine called the +1 routine, which may be one of my very favorite routines ever, because think, pair, share, and +1, wow, I could just teach an entire class using only those, like a whole semester's worth of classes using just those two thinking routines. Those are my two favorite go-to ones. This one comes in synthesizing and organizing ideas, and I'll explain that when we get to it, but I partner this with a lot of thinking routines. So it's also recommended that students draw, write, and model or build to show their understanding and interpretations. Now, when I have my students take notes, I teach them how to sketch note anyway, because I know that memory is very visual. So I'm showing them how to draw while they take notes anyway. So I highly recommend that, because we don't really want them switching back and forth to English. So the more I can get them to draw what they understand, I think the more it keeps them in the target language. The possibility is also you could have them model and build in Minecraft. I have to mention this because I am now a Minecraft Education Ambassador and I am loving every minute of it. But I will tell you that I'm still working on tweaking this to make it really seamless, because I find it takes a long time to do this. That's precious class time. It takes a while to get the computers out. It takes a while to get them focused. And of course, for them to be successful, I have to give them all the Minecraft vocabulary they need. So we need to be working on the Minecraft vocabulary for a while before we can do this. I'm still working on this process, and I will make another video as soon as I get more insights into this. But I teach health over the summer, and I do this a lot with my health students, because they're not slowed down by the cognitive demands of, how do you say I'm mining a dirt block, So when you're teaching grammar explicitly, and again, I keep wanting to make the case for teaching grammar explicitly because I can spend 5 minutes giving a grammar lesson, and then the students can apply that pattern to so many different things. It's so much quicker than just memorize this list of words and memorize this list of words and you intuitively do this, and then they're messing it up forever. They're always saying I got 2 feet because they're not hearing it 100 million times. So I teach them the rule. So if you got a pop-up grammar, use it on that. Grammar translation method, audiolingual method, maybe you're doing a transformation drill, community language learning, you're dissecting a script that your class wrote, you're just working out of your textbook. You can teach grammar explicitly, and this thinking routine, you're going to find some pattern. And again, here's my patterns for conjugating verbs. It should be a pattern that you come back to constantly. Okay, not a one and done, not okay, I'm just showing you this one time and now we're getting back. This is something that you want the students to have as a foundation. Okay, you're always going to be Vanna Whiting your way over to the posters that you have in your class to remind them it's I am, not I is. Okay, so you can easily use this routine on that. Teaching literature, culture, history, art, music, food. Use this routine on a subject that's going to take a while, like when you're building up to a festival. Here's a festival we did, or you're starting a new book, or you've got some big project you're working on. Here's a little scene from our Tour de France that we work on. You've got something huge coming up. This is a pretty good thinking routine for that. In our next episode, we start the next group of Harvard Project Zero thinking routines. That's digging deeper into ideas. And the very first thinking routine they have on that is beauty and truth. And I hope you join me for that.